Hey guys, welcome back to another IELTS Talk session of therapy session here. My name is Paul Kreischer. I'm your host once again. Welcome to the 2021-2022 season. Yes, I am very, very, very late to this party. Uh, it is what it is, and that's going to be the theme for this show. It is what it is. Uh, Sorry, I haven't been around. There are a few reasons. I got a couple of personal reasons why I haven't been around. But in this segment on this show, we are going to go very deep into the Islanders here. We're going to discuss what went wrong, what's going wrong, how are they going to fix it, and we're going to talk about the future of the Islanders and the NHL. So, what's up, guys? Do I know you? I know it's been a while. I am wearing the old, hockey fights cancer. Um, it's this time of year, so if you have all of your stuff, make sure you're wearing that on tonight's show. Um, Water cooler talk will definitely be happening later on during the show. I'll be taking your questions as always, but first, we're going to get right down to it. I've had a lot of people come up to me and say, "Is this season really over? Are they done? Should they be done?" Um, Welcome, Robin. Welcome, David. All you guys, thanks for coming back. And the answer is very simple. No, the season's not over yet. For those of you who have been following me now for years, why I don't know. For those of you who have been following me, I do percentage standings. Been doing it for a very long time. And I normally don't look at standings until game 41. 31 just to get into the mix of things. And sometimes at the beginning of the season, I'll go, 10 games just for ha-has, and we'll eyeball a team that probably is eliminated by game 10. So let's have fun with that first. If there's a team that we can safely eliminate at this moment, it's probably the Arizona Coyotes. I feel bad for them. We don't even know where they're going to play next year. And, um, you know, that if that's one team you really don't want to be right now, it's the Arizona Coyotes. So Islander fans, there's still a bright side to all of this. But no, the season is not over yet. It's not even close. And the reason why I don't really look at the standings until halfway through is because most of those teams are still not eliminated. The Islanders at this point in time, the Islanders need to play around the NHL 500 record by game 41, and they're still in the playoff hunt. That's the bottom line. That's how the percentages work. It has always worked like that. I know there have been a couple of former beat writers and beat writers themselves today. They're going back in time and telling fans, look, at a certain time of the year, at a particular year, the Islanders were at such a low record and they came back. Gary brought up a great point on his show yesterday when he brought up the St. Louis Blues. They fired the coach. They brought in Jordan Binnington, and all of a sudden it's a winning streak. I'm not saying the Islanders are going to fire Barry Trotz, but this is something that the Islanders, and let's face it, every Islander fan has never experienced before. This is new to everybody. Okay. So, what's up, guys? And we're going to get down to it. So, right now, the Islanders are sitting at 5-10-2, which puts them on pace for 58 points for the season. Okay. Again, you really can't eliminate the Islanders until at least game 41. And the Islanders haven't even played half their games yet. That's number one. So right now, what's wrong with this team other than the COVID and everything else? Well, before we dissect into the players, let's take a look at some of those losses first. Okay. Now, mind you, you guys already know this. You guys are not stupid. You know this already. This team was favored to win the Stanley Cup, but this team also plays this in the Stanley Cup playoffs all season long. This is a defense first. This is a grinded out team. We know this. Some of you, many of you, don't like that so much. You would like to see more goal scoring. We're going to get into that later. Okay. However, let's dissect the season so far and those 10 losses. Okay. And again, we're going to be playing the percentages. Most of those losses, 2 from Florida, 1 from Tampa, 1 from Calgary, 1 from Minnesota. Who saw Minnesota and Calgary doing what they're doing right now? Okay. Toronto. Okay. And give credit where credit is due. The New York Rangers. Okay. Granted, there are times when we've been playing with the Bridgeport Islanders. That happens. But at the same token, these 7 losses out of the 10, folks, we have been losing to teams that are on pace. Mind you, this is what all these teams are on pace for. 111, 116, 119, 127 points. Okay? These teams that the Islanders have been losing to right now are all on a tear. Are you really going to tell me right now that the Carolina Hurricanes are going to finish with 127 points? Man, I hope not. Are you going to sit here and tell me that the Florida Panthers and the New York Rangers are going to finish with 121 and 119 points? No. No. Look at what Minnesota was doing. Minnesota's on a 690 winning percentage right now. They're tearing everybody up. Who saw what Calgary was doing? Okay, even the Leafs. The Leafs are on pace for 116 points. Folks, the Islanders are losing to teams with the fastest start to the season. 7 out of those 10 losses have been to teams with the fastest start to this season. There's a reason why I don't look at the standings until at least game 31. We're being annihilated. Now you throw in COVID. You throw in some of the injuries. You're playing against the hottest teams in the NHL right now, and this is what you're going to get. No excuses on the schedule? Really? No excuses on the schedule. Sorry, I got to disagree. That 13-game road trip should never have happened. You're really gonna fight me on that one? That 13-game schedule away schedule to start the season never should have happened. That's another topic for another day. Yes, I know. Can't score a goal. You want to dissect the players? Fine. Let's dissect the players. We can dissect them. Okay? Again, playing the percentages, guys and gals, folks. Josh Bailey. I made fun of this on Gary's show yesterday. Josh Bailey's on pace for 6 goals for the season, guys. And let me tell you something. That's normal. Oh, look out. Figures. Watch this. I mentioned Josh Bailey, and look who shows up.
Hey, sorry about that. I just had to get my audio on.
Okay. I mentioned Josh Bailey, and all of a sudden you show up. So there we go.
Magnetism, man.
All right. So anyway, Josh Bailey on pace for 6 goals to start the season. Folks, that's normal. Josh Bailey doesn't get into the teens until at least game 20 to 25. That's just the way he has been playing. Anthony Beauvillier is now on pace for 15 goals throughout this season. Guess what? That's normal for him at this time of year. He doesn't pick it up until at least game 20 to 23. It's already in there in his stats. Granted, Casey Zizekas hasn't scored a goal yet, but Cal Clutterbuck has 2. You have that. Okay, you go down to Brock Nelson. Brock Nelson's tearing it up with 48. He's on pace for that. Oliver Wahlstrom's on pace for 29. Anders Lee is on pace for 26. Guys, your top 6 forwards, they're all normal. They're normal. They are who they are. It is what it is what it is. This is going to be their theme. Okay? This is going to happen. Now, granted, Palmieri, Pajot, Parisi, they've all been hit with, too tight on the stick or whatnot. But you got to remember, you're only asking them to score 16 goals, which is what Uncle Leo, Michael Dal Cole, and JG Pajot scored for you last year. They're going to do it at some point. Your biggest killer right now is the lack of shot blocking and the absence of Pulock and Pelech together as a pair. That's the biggest part right now. And Semyon Varlamov needs to be healthy for the rest of this season. Your offense, believe it or not, guys, despite the here we go again, despite the third line, is normal. They're normal.
I agree with that.
They're normal. Again, we're waiting on a third line. How many years have I been saying that? They'll come together at some point. When the old guys finally get it together and they play the grinded out system while scoring some goals, you're going to see the 2-1, 3-2 games come back. And I'll say this now. Gary brought it up last night. Jordan Binnington coming in for St. Louis, playing that second half of the season. St. Louis goes on to win the cup. Nothing would shock me at this moment if Ilya Sorokin started the second half of the season as the starter, and he takes this team, carries it on his shoulders, and they go all the way with Sorokin. That's how I'm seeing it. So if the D gets healthy, if the players communicate a little bit better, the old guys finally get their scoring touch, and our streaky top 6 forwards finally get onto a hot streak. Should the Islanders be fine by game 40? Yeah. Are they out of the playoffs? No, they shouldn't be. Yes. Season's not over. Not even close. You can't even do that. The only team that's really out would be the Arizona Coyotes, maybe the Montreal Canadiens.
Ottawa Senators.
And the Ottawa Senators. Those 3 are probably the only ones I really can't see making the playoffs at this point. Okay, there's no way you're going to tell me right now that the Rangers are going to finish off this season with 119 points. No chance. All of these teams that are hot right now, they got to come down. They will come down. And unfortunately to say this, there's going to come a time where COVID may, in fact, impact these other teams as well. Some of these other players are going to have to sit out. Other teams are going to have to go through the same thing that the Islanders are right now. This is how it is right now. So power play has always been a huge problem. No question. I don't know. That I don't know. That I don't know how to fix. I don't even have an answer for you on that one.
How many years have we been trying to fix it?
Yeah. We've been trying to fix a third line, and we've been trying to fix a power play. And at some point, the third line's going to fix itself. Okay? But sticking with the system for a minute, okay? To my knowledge, there has not been an Islander team that has given up more than 217 goals in a season and missed the playoffs. Anything 217 and below, the Islanders have made the playoffs. Right now, the Islanders are on pace to give up 224. Again, this is all too early, but everyone's already jumping off the Throgs Neck bridge because the Brooklyn Bridge is nowhere near them anymore. Now you got to go to the Throgs Neck. Don't worry about it. This is all too early. We shouldn't even be discussing this. The Islanders have lost to some of the hottest teams in the NHL. We are a grinded out team. We play playoff hockey. every game for 82 games, and then you got to do it in the playoffs. It's a tough battle to do, but there's no way that, you know, those teams that I just mentioned, there's no way all of them are going to be able to handle the point pace that they are all on at this point. There's no way they're all scoring, over 100 points for the season. Not all of them. Can't.
Nope.
It's just not there. So that's part of the problem. The Islanders have been going up against some really hot teams, injuries aside, and then COVID. Okay. Now, for those of you who were wondering, you know, why weren't these games canceled sooner? I got an answer for you. Okay. That's because the Islanders did not hit their protocol number. The owners of the NHL stepped in and basically said to Bettman, please stop the Islanders. Stop their schedule, stop their season. Why? Because, believe it or not, Islander fans, there are many people outside of Long Island who still believe that the Islanders can make the playoffs this year. And in a brand new arena, you cannot have the Bridgeport Islanders play all their games against teams like the Rangers, who are probably going to beat us right there, or worse, Philadelphia, where we're going to have less fans in the arena. UBS Arena absolutely needs to have a full capacity crowd this year. No ands, ifs, or buts. We have been talking about this over the years now. COVID did some damages, okay, especially to the salary cap. Gary and I have been saying it now for years. If COVID never happened, we're looking at least $95 million in cap space for the Islanders. You want to know where Devon Toews went? You want to know why Nick Leddy left? That's why. There's no cap space coming, guys. Yeah, they're going to raise it up $1 million a year, but you know what? That's because of inflation. You sign a veteran like Zdeno Chara, $750,000. You give him the $250,000 bonus. There's your $1 million. Not getting much for $1 million each year, guys. Okay, hockey, and especially in the NHL, you need full capacity. Islander fans are not stupid. We know this. If they see the Bridgeport Islanders there, a lot of season ticket holders are not going to go. They're going to try to get some of their money back. And the people who are already watching TV, they don't want to go see the Bridgeport Islanders. You're in a different environment now, Islander fans. You need to pack UBS Arena every night. And it's because of the COVID protocols that the owners finally stepped in and said, listen, we need them to stop. We need that arena filled, and we need them to get back to normal. Just like Calgary's getting a new arena, the NHL is pushing Ottawa to move to downtown Ottawa. They got to get the Coyotes a home. They got to start generating the money, guys. And it's not just about money. It's about livelihood. The worst thing that can happen for the owners right now are two words. Travel ban. Especially with what's going on in the news. We're not going to get political on it. But if there's another travel ban and players can't go back and forth to Canada, can't go back to China, can't go back to Europe, what are you going to do? So specifically for the Islanders, you got saved by the owners of the NHL because everyone's rooting for the Islanders to get into the playoffs. And Gary and I have been saying this for years. You need the Rangers and the Islanders this year to make the playoffs, hopefully to battle it out in the first round. God, would I love that. That brings back New York together like it'll blow out the Knicks and Nets. it'll blow out the Knicks and Nets. You need that new rivalry, and it would be a new rivalry. But you need the Islanders to be healthy. The owners recognize this, and they asked Bettman to just stop their season. So that is why the Islanders have stopped. Everyone tries to get healthy because, if I'm not mistaken, there were also other personnel who got
Three.
COVID as well. Three
Three.
other people. Fair
Three.
enough. Okay.
Well, I'll tell you straight out, Paul.
Go ahead.
I don't see the Islanders playing Thursday either. The only reason I say they might is because it's San Jose and they've already made 2 trips out to the East Coast, and it'd be tough to schedule that game. But if the practice facility is not opening officially until tomorrow, I just can't see. In 48 hours, you're gonna have a team. You may have 3 or 4 guys come out and test negative, but you can't expect them to be game ready in 48 hours.
No.
You just can't.
No.
You just can't.
No.
Do I see them maybe playing in Detroit on Saturday and then back home on Sunday against Chicago? Yeah, I can see that.
I could see that.
I could see that scenario happening, but I just don't. And again, I didn't look at the San Jose schedule and see, if they're coming, maybe to the central time zone. You can tack on, throwing another, a back-to-back night for them maybe, and bringing them to the island. But actually, they haven't played the Rangers yet, right? San Jose hasn't played the Rangers.
I don't think so.
So there's a possibility there. They may have to come back one more time. So, that's workable. You can work that out, but. I think if you cancel these two, you got to cancel a third. You just need to have these guys, 72 hours of practice to get in, at least 72 hours of practice to get in game shape. It's not fair. You can't just say cancel 2 games and then just throw them back out with nobody.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. And, even the guys under the weather. And this is another thing. You also have to take a look at their families. You have to take a look at anybody else who might be infected. You have to take a look at the minor league players, the Islanders. I'm sure they're doing this, but you don't want to send the kids back down to Bridgeport and then get the entire AHL
infected.
Sure. Infected. So, the Islanders will do their due diligence. They're preventing something from getting worse. Thank you, NHL owners. And, they will get back on track. At this point, Detroit and Chicago probably are the 2 best games to get back into the season.
For sure.
Detroit's been playing well. Detroit has been playing well.
Yeah, 10-9-3. Yeah.
Yeah. But a defense first, again, depending on who's back. And then you got Chicago. They're winnable games. Winnable games.
No question.
So, again, folks, don't worry about the standings. Don't worry about the standings. This is a team that can still go 9-1, 8-2-0 on any 10 game stretch. And I think this is going to turn out to be a team with, I think, the last 30 games. The last 30 games of this season, watch the Islanders get ready.
Other teams have done it with less talent. Come out of the funk like this with less talent.
Yeah. Now, on to the next part here. What's next? Crawl their way back. They are going to crawl their way back. They're going to get everything together. They're probably going to watch other teams get injured as well. We're going to see what happens with COVID. We'll see if there's an eventual travel ban. I hope not. Okay. But I don't think Lou is going to sit on his hands. I'm sure he'll make a couple of phone calls. I'm sure he'll wait for phone calls. But I'll tell you right now, I cannot see Lou making a trade, making his first trade at the trade deadline.
No.
Can't see it. I would say at the very earliest would probably be sometime after New Year's. Early to mid-January, if everything's good, if he's got the right deal that he wants, I can see mid-January, and you guys can pick whoever you want.
Because you're going to have a ban again in February, obviously with the Olympic break and all that. So
there you go.
That's prime time. Make a splash. And again, you're unlike other years where they've had to use LTIR. You're accruing salary. You're accruing money.
He's got 2.4, just under 2.4 million right now.
Right, but they're accruing every day.
Yeah, and that's enough to swing a deal right now. He doesn't have to do it. I'll tell you right now, Islander fans, you're all gonna. You're all gonna get killed by his patience. You're gonna pull your hair out. You're gonna kill each other before Lou makes a trade. His patience will kill you.
That's for sure.
His patience will kill you. That's the proper way to say it. The way to get this team back is, like Gary just said, get them healthy, get them ready, pretend it's a brand new season, and start playing the Islander way. Honestly, Gary, Pittsburgh was probably the best Islander way game all season for me.
I'd agree to that. They played a solid game. They played Islander hockey. I know the past few games before that they weren't blocking as many shots or doing as much, but they did in the Pittsburgh game. They played the system. Again, a goal, as I said last night, a goal that probably Ilya would want back, but with the exception of that, he was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant. His side to side
is amazing.
Was incredible. Was vintage Sorokin.
Thank you, Cutler.
Nice comment.
Yeah. No, he's been good. But I think the one thing the Islanders truly have been missing are the shot blocks.
Yeah. And they did that. And they did that on Friday.
Yeah.
They did that on Friday.
And that is actually part of their playoff hockey mentality. You have to start blocking the shots more. So I don't know. Maybe we turned a corner with Pittsburgh. We'll find out. I'm hoping the next couple of games are postponed, and then we see Detroit and Chicago.
Yeah, it's just one game. It's
just one game.
Just the Thursday San Jose game, and then you got Saturday and Sunday.
And was the one in Philly already postponed?
Yes.
That was it. Okay.
Yeah. Tomorrow's postponed.
Yeah.
It's just tomorrow they're now able to go back into Northwell. The players can go back into the practice facility. And then we see tomorrow morning who is now who's now negative. How many of the 8 are now negative? I'm hoping we get a majority of the 8.
That would be nice.
Yeah. Thank Andy Androhoff, thank all those guys, Grant Hutton as well. They did, most of them did admirable jobs. They did as good as they could. I liked watching Hutton in Bridgeport, and I was hoping, he would play pretty much the same way. He made some mistakes, but I think overall he was admirable. Again, Thomas Hickey, the consummate professional. I just love seeing him back. It's a great story. And I think, to be honest, I think you send Aho back down and you make Hickey the 7th. Because he's a professional and I think he can handle, being able to step in the role. He did that here on and off for a couple of years. So I think he's capable of it. I think, Aho, may have did something good in camp, but I think, not playing those first 6 or 7 games, stifled him. And, he needs to go back. He needs to play every day. And he needs to, get 23 minutes and do whatever. And Salo, I think you keep.
I'm going to go the other way.
Okay.
I'm going to go. I would agree. Keep Hickey for this year.
Oh, yeah.
I would. Yeah. Keep Hickey for the 7th, but I would actually send Salo down. Get
the other guys back. You're right. That's a valid point.
Yeah.
Valid point.
Yeah, Salo, for me, I want Salo to get like 20 minutes a game down in the AHL.
Yeah.
even for like another 30 games and see where he goes from there. Um, but again, that's just me. But again, for those of you who are new, I have been, I'm still wanting a future pairing of both Sallow and Dobson as the second pair for next season's team. I am very high on Sallow. I like him. Um, I think he does have some Nick Leddy qualities in him, but I don't know if he's ready just yet. I understand why a lot of fans want to keep him up. Granted, and you're not wrong in that. But in terms of the overall game, just I want to give him the Devon Tays treatment. Give him a little more time in the American Hockey League, so that way when he does come back up, I don't think Charts will ever question keeping
It'll be a
him.
seamless move.
Yeah, it'll be an easy, very, very easy thing to do. So, Hutton over Aho, yeah. I mean, the size wise, Hutton's more of a
Plus,
Scott Mayfield.
plus consistency.
Yeah, I mean, Aho, in all honesty, he hasn't really played a lot of games. Hutton got in a few more games. I don't know, like game wise,
And,
the
and
rust.
truthfully, and truthfully, Aho's mistakes were glaring mistakes. Hutton's the type of player, I think, because he doesn't play an overly flashy game, that he can correct his problems. But Aho's mistakes, especially if you watch that Ranger game and you watch that power play, that was disaster. Bolduc, um, he's progressing nicely. I think
So
he'll be fine. But again, he's very raw.
yeah, Bolduc was never coming up anytime soon. Bolduc was
No,
always going to be the project. So I didn't think he was coming up anytime soon.
no,
Um, yeah, Aho has to clear waivers. That's true.
he will.
Would he? He might. He might now.
Yeah, I
But
think he will.
then again, a team like Ottawa or a team like Arizona may actually claim him. And let's be honest, what's the difference between the Arizona Coyotes right now and another AHL team?
Not much.
Not much.
The Kessel.
What's the difference? You get to stay up and you get to travel you get to travel on an airplane.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. You don't have the bus. Good job. We'll see what happens.
Well, on that Western Conference side of the AHL, they fly too, but
That's true.
it's,
Yeah. So, all right. Moving on now. We're going to go right into water cooler talk.
all right. I'm only going to be on a couple more minutes, Paul. I got to.
Yeah, do what you got to do. That's fine. Water cooler talk. This is where we're going to take all your questions, comments, concerns. Fire away. Anything you want. Go ahead. Can't have Chara and Green in the same game. Yes and no. I mean, if you get a team that shoots a lot and you know that Green's going to be blocking some shots, maybe you need Green in there to block some shots. Chara, I think Chara is still trying to find his niche with the Islanders.
I think his penalty killing's been good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're still trying to
But
fit,
unfortunately, you can't
yeah,
rely on just that.
right.
That's the problem.
Yeah, remember Jared Spurgeon, too small. Yeah, remember Jared Spurgeon didn't want to sign with the Islanders. Next. Yeah, Bolduc's having a bad year after a very good year. Yeah, it's a learning curve. It's a learning curve. Can you do the same teams that we have beaten? Well, yeah, sure. Winnipeg's been around 500. Columbus is still around 500. The Pens we only lost to by one game. The Devils are 8-6. Oh no, we lost to the Devils. Excuse me.
We lost Devils.
But even the Devils have been hot at that point. Who else did we beat?
Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago, Arizona. Yeah, yeah. The bipolar wins, bipolar losses. Barzal, what's up with him? Do you think he will resign? I'm worried. Yeah, he's going to resign. Yeah, the Islanders will take care of him. And really, there's nothing wrong with Matty either. I mean, in terms of goals, he's on pace for 19 right now. And that's normal for Barzy. He needs Anders Lee back. And, at some point, the Islanders will figure out who's going to be on their right wing, whether it be Bailey, Palmieri, Wallstrom. I think that's going to be an ongoing test. I think as of right now, it may be Josh Bailey, because you got to remember, Barzell does love playing with Josh Bailey. Despite that, almost every Islander hates to hear, Barzell loves playing with Josh Bailey. No, I know we didn't beat Columbus. We got 1 point out of them, but again, Columbus is, doing decent.
Without Patrick Line in the lineup too.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right, TJ. It's been a bipolar season. We've been beating the really bad teams and losing to the really good teams. Where's the equilibrium? Well, we're going to find that out as we start to get into more games. It's one of those reasons why I never take a look at the standings now. Almost never now. Let's talk by game 40. And that's the other thing too. A 13-game road trip, you're going to have some kind of issues. It's a long road trip, the family, whatnot. It's unheard of.
3 games in 15 days. That's hard.
It's rough.
It wasn't it was never going to be perfect.
Yeah. So let's play out the rest of the season when they're all healthy, and we'll go from there. I still think they'll pull it off. They'll be back into playoff contention by game 40. I'm hoping sooner, but I'm really not going to look at the standings now. It's just too early.
Listen, Paul, I'm going to skedaddle.
All right, Gary. Talk to you later.
All right, take it easy, man.
Yep.
So long, everybody.
All righty. Matthew, any reason why? What do you mean? Trotz wanting to play Chara and Andy Green every night. I think it hurts the team. It's like I said, though. I haven't really seen the Islanders play their system yet. You're not wrong, but I think that goes for a bunch of guys. I don't think it's just Chara and Andy. I don't think Varlamov has been, up to standards, but he's been injured. And that's the other question, too. Even with COVID going on, are there any other Islander players that are injured that we just don't know about? I mean, I don't think Chara and Andy Green are going to be that final pairing. I don't even think Trotz wants to do that. But again, we'll see what happens. So, any other questions, comments, concerns? Boy, you're going to make this an early night for me, huh? Come on. Yeah, and it's an adjustment. It really is an adjustment. It's an adjustment for Chara to not only get to learn the players, the zone, the system. I'm sure he had something similar to that in Boston, but I think they just need a little more time. How is Wild playing in Sweden, Paul? He's all right. You know what? For the most part, in Europe, you just take a look at the amount of games. He's doing well. I don't think he'd be called up right now if he were here. I still think it'd be Thomas Hickey. But I think after this season, I wouldn't be surprised if Wild was a call-up. Okay, Chara is done. Okay. What do you want me to say? Okay, you've got Chara. What do you want to do with Chara? Go ahead. Casper Holmstrom showed any progress? Yes, but again, with all of the players moving up and switching around, is he one to take control over a game? No, that was never really his game. So He's doing all right. Uh, what do you think on Trotz resigning or resigning? I think he resigns. I think he knows he's got something good here, and he's loving UBS Arena. Why not? Give him another 3-year deal. If the players really do love him, they love playing for him. Give him another 3-year deal. Why not? What do I think of Chara? Honestly, I think he's still adjusting. I do. I think he's still adjusting, and again, we've been going up against some really, really good teams that are really making our players look really, really old right now. They are. It's early in the season, so I for one did want Chara on the team as a bottom pair. I didn't know what the defense was going to look like, but at the same time, I really wasn't hoping to lose Pollock and Pellick at the same time either. That doesn't help. I still think Chara is adjusting. I think Parisi and Palmieri are still adjusting, even though Palmieri was here for the second half. You're now here for the grind. You're here for the longer season. How are you going to adjust to a 13-game road trip? Granted, we know, he's, Chara's older than most of us here, but, even that takes a toll on people. That's easier said than done. It's easier for us to say, we're sitting here, he's got to adjust by now. Can't wait forever. Well, you got enough time to. The playoffs are not out of reach. The Islanders are not dead yet. They're not. If you want to write them off, by all means, write them off. Go start rooting for the Mets. Go ahead. The Mets are doing all the signings. Go ahead. If you are in serious consideration of signing, writing the Islanders off right now, go ahead. Would Lou move Green back to New Jersey if we are out by the Olympic break? To retire as a Devil? Maybe. I could understand that. I don't think Green would go, though. How about the hot Dolphins? Oh, please stop. The Dolphins. Yeah. Laces out. Anyway. I know you're a Mets fan. That's why I'm saying here. I know you guys. I know your sports teams here. So Palms and Parisi are weighing us down. Pajot and Barzell are a mystery. Yeah. I don't know if they're weighing us down. I think Parisi's done everything but score. I kind of feel bad for the guy. His defense isn't really bad. Palmieri, I think he's holding his stick really, really tight. I do think he's holding his stick really, really tight. Barzell just doesn't know who's on his line right now. Then that's just due to what's been going on. So, again, we're coming to the point where the Islanders get a chance to reset. I'm hoping they don't have to play against San Jose. Let's see what they can do against Detroit and Chicago, and go from there. 2 wins is 2 wins. How about those Jets? They won. Oh. Next. Oh, man. So, any other questions, comments, concerns? I wonder if Martin is fully recovered from ankle surgery, even slower than before. Cutler, I brought something like that up. I'm really wondering, are there other Islanders who are still injured that we just don't know about? And they're playing through injuries right now. A lot of posts missed nets. I can't talk. A lot of posts and missed nets, lacking starters to sustain pressure in high school play. Yeah, that's it. That's it in a nutshell, Robin. Posts, missed nets, lacking starters. That's it. It unfortunately for the Islanders and Islander fans, it's all coming together at once. But it's better to do it now. Go through this now than the last 20 games of the season. Excuse me. It's better to do it now. Otto looked really good versus the Pens. He did. That's a kid who has not played a lot of games the last year and a half. He looked really good. I was very, very surprised. Too many vets aren't showing up. And instead of playing rookies and sitting vet, Trotz keeps playing the vet. Good thing we had Cappy when Barcy came up. At least he wasn't afraid to play the kids. Um, yes and no. Yes and no. I mean, if the season's really over, yeah, you start playing the kids. But I don't think the Islanders can actually afford. This is what I was talking about before. I don't think the Islanders can afford to play the kids right now. Like financially, can afford to play the kids right now. You have to put an NHL team on the line right now because fans know whether or not these games are going to be losses or not. And the season ticket holders are much smarter than that. Look at it before. It was a perfect time for them to sell tickets. Bridgeport Islanders against the New York Rangers. What'd they do? They were selling their tickets. Even against Pittsburgh, I could have gotten tickets. I should not be able to get tickets. What are we, third or fourth home game in? I should not be allowed to get tickets at discount prices. And that was what was happening. The Islanders cannot afford to put in kids who are not yet ready to play. That's it. Financially, they can't afford it. They have to put an NHL team on the line. You cannot rebuild at any time this year or next year. Just can't do it. Wonder if Hutton sticks since he's a righty, and so is Pullock, who's out another 3 or 4 weeks. Uh, that's a good question. I'm wondering that myself. I would like to see him stay. But again, we have to see who's healthy. We have to see who's actually allowed to stay. Because some of them are on emergency loan. So again, we got to give it a couple of more days. Well, no, they weren't really selling tickets, Brian. They weren't selling tickets until COVID basically was breaking out. I know you're all in favor of keeping Salo up. I agree to a point, but over the long haul right now, is Salo really going to be able to hold up? And none of us know that. I'm more, and you guys know me by this point. I'm more of a send him down, let him get 30 more games of whatever Trotz wants him to learn or experience or whatnot, and then bring him up to the point where Trotz is forced to keep him in play a la Devontae's just a couple of years ago. We are a different team, and I think Robin, I think they're all trying to find their niche. You're starting your top six forwards are doing their thing. I think the middle six, they're still trying to find their game. Um, you know, again, we're bipolar. We're beating the really bad teams and we're losing to the really good teams. Where's the equilibrium? You know, where are the Islanders going to be? And I think the only answer to that is, well, we need to play more games and find that out. The Islanders are going to be finding themselves again when this whole stretch of no hockey is over and we play a few more games. Yeah, good point, Matthew, on Pageau's injury. Again, we don't know. We don't know. Salo can learn on the fly. Well, we'll find out. We'll find out. Thank God it's not my call. We will get the 8th or 7th spot in your opinion. Well, I don't think Columbus is going to be able to hold on. The Pens are not going to hold on. I don't know if the Caps can hold on to a 123-point pace. They're still a year older. And I'm not going to lie. I don't know if the Rangers can hold on to a 119-point pace. I don't want to say second place is possible, but, fourth for sure in the Metro. I think that's still up for grabs. And again, I think we would need an epic collapse on the Rangers part or the Caps part if we want second or third. but I can definitely see fourth as a possibility just as of right now. Yeah, definitely a revolving door. Well, I'm going to turn that into a question. Are the Rangers overachieving? They might be. They might be. Not by much though. I anticipated the Rangers to be good this year just by the hiring of Gerard Gallant. I really did. Again, I for me as a hockey fan and a New York fan, I really want to see the Rangers and Islanders in the playoffs this year. I really want that. I want that for everybody. I want everybody in the hockey world in New York to hate each other again. Like literally hate each other again. It's I know it's I'm weird like that, but man, does New York need hockey right now. And they need both the Rangers and Islanders really, really good. And they really need the fans hating each other right now. And I don't think we're at that point. Any thoughts on Luke pulling off a trade? Yeah, I think it'll be probably January as he's accumulating more cap space. He may need to make a trade, a couple of minor trades, maybe just to make some more room. Let's say, for example, over the next couple of games, Salo really does improve. Let's say he really does improve and Salo, stays. Maybe Lou has a reason to make a trade. As of right now, Lou doesn't have a reason to make a trade. Right now, it's about getting everybody back and healthy. So we'll go from there. Rangers are leaning heavily on goaltending. I don't believe that's sustainable over 6 months. No, I agree with that. I'm more comfortable with the Islanders leaning heavily on goaltending for 6 months than I would the Rangers. I agree with that. I agree with that. I like that. Actually, can I? Oh, yeah, look at that. I forgot to do that. Oops. I'll do that with you guys next time. Robin Stewart. Absolutely. Any other good questions coming on? We got about 8 minutes to go here. Yeah, Islander fans, don't worry about it. Be concerned, but don't worry about it. You can follow Gary and I on Twitter. Those are our handles right there. Don't forget to follow us. Take care, guys. In the chat room. Yeah, be concerned, but don't worry about it yet. It's still very early in the season, and this is still a team that will grind everybody out. That's what they're built for. That's what they're made to do. And the Islanders are not out yet. They're not out. They're not going to be. But you got to give them. You got to give them more games at home. You got to give them more games. Period. And who knows? Maybe something else like this happens to another team or other teams, and we go from there. I'm going to show this one. Why don't they shoot more, Paul? It's so simple. Yes, but it's more difficult when they get in their own heads. When they say they're holding the stick too tight, it's part of the process. Do I shoot? Do I not shoot? It's that slight hesitation that completely messes them up. Happens very frequently, and it happens. Again, Robin, it's a good one. This is hockey. It's not a sprint, which is true. As of right now, this is not going to be a shortened season. We better hope not. And I hope for right now we don't hear anything of a travel ban, because then you got to start worrying. But again, that's outside of hockey for right now. So great show, guys. I don't know when I'll be back on. I'll be back on at some point. We'll give the Islanders. I'll give the Islanders at least another 10 more games. And believe me, you guys know me by now. If I'm wrong with a lot of this stuff, I will come back and you guys can roast me all you want. You can roast me all you want. I'll put up all your comments. You said this, you said that. I told you this was wrong. I told you this was right. Yada, yada, yada. You guys can do whatever you want with me. We'll call it a Paul roasting, whatever it is. But give the Islanders at least another 10 to 20 games and go from there. So, having said that, thank you guys for coming into the chat room. Thank you guys for coming on, and we'll see you guys soon. So, again, good luck to everyone. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Don't forget to like the videos, comment on them, and subscribe. And we'll talk to you guys sometime soon. Okay? Talk to you later. Let's go, Islanders.